A very good afternoon. It's 2:30 local time here in Les Sables d'Olonne. We're going into the second week of the race. It's day 8, day 8 and 1 hour. And it's a happy Monday. Well, generally, mostly everyone out on the race course is happy. Happiest of all, perhaps, is Sam Goodchild, who still holds this little narrow lead. A little bit of a blue Monday, perhaps, for Shabby, our Hungarian skipper, who's in Las Palmas, on a mooring in Las Palmas, fixing his mainsail. So things, I believe, are going okay. He's just about to climb the mast again. But generally, for the front of the fleet, we're predicting a little bit of a restart at the Cabo Verdes, at the Cape Verde Islands. But it is, all in all, still very close. Clarice Kramer still in sight of Sam Davis there. So our guest today, we've got Will Harris, the Militia co-skipper online just now. Co-skipper, father-to-be and house renovator at the moment. Any babies yet, Will?
Not yet. Still waiting here back in Lorient, but we've definitely got some exciting things to be following with the Vendée Globe and seeing where the boats are 1 week after the start.
Good stuff. And Antoine Grenapin, my good-looking young French counterpart, are linked. We're trying to have a bit more of a link with the French channel. What's going on there? He's a journalist. He's an author. His book is still on the bookshelf there. And he's now English TV presenter. Look out, the BBC. Antoine is coming.
Hi.
So Sam Goodchild is staying pretty cool at the moment at the top of the fleet. He knows that there's going to be some compression. The boat's coming in from behind and from the west with some breeze. We spoke with Sam this morning. He was having his breakfast. We will catch him in a few moments. But starting off with Will Harris, what's your thoughts on the race at this stage? I mean, it's unusual to be so close 8 days in.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. Firstly, to see a fellow Brit in first place. Sam's doing a really good job there, and you know, the last few days of the race, he's really played it nicely, just taking a slight separation, slightly further south line than the other boats, and he managed to pick up a nice little breeze to sort of propel him towards the south, and he's sitting sort of 50, 60 miles ahead of his closest competitors. And really right now, the weather situation is totally complicated. It's very peculiar sort of conditions in this sort of area of the world where there's normally good trade winds, but Sam's looking good to actually pick up the new wind in the south first, so potentially he could extend the lead that he's already got.
What's Sam done right in particular in terms of his positioning? He was saying this morning a little bit of luck involved.
Yeah, exactly. It's you know, it sometimes only take 5-10 miles separation from the other boats to really make all the difference, and that lead can really extend out. So basically, what I kind of saw is south of Madeira, Sam really managed to work his way slightly further south than the others, which meant that he was able to hook into a little bit more breeze in the south. And even only a few sort of 5 or 6 miles, that's jumped into sort of 50 or 60 miles now. So it's those small tactical choices which Sam's managed to play really well, really nicely, and that's put him in the lead there. But I think, like you say, those boats behind, they could either pick up the wind first and Sam could stay stuck in light winds, or potentially Sam will get another jump on them by touching the good trade winds again further south.
Thank you very much, Will. Hopefully we're going with Charlie Dalin. Charlie, how's life on board Massif Santé Prévoyance? How's life?
Indeed, life is good. Life is a bit too slow for my liking, but had a good run this morning. Yes, quite a few hours with speed in the 20s, which was good, and now I'm back to slower speed now. But yeah, apart from that, it's all good. Trying to work out the best way to tackle this light wind area ahead of me, and also starting to look towards the doldrums as well. They are looking pretty full on. So yeah, quite a lot of things to do.
Have you been particularly frustrated, or have you been staying nice and zen?
No, I'm pretty zen. The Vendée Globe, it's a long race, you know, and yeah, it's still a long way to go. So many options and choices and things to make. So yeah, that's true that I like my choices were not as didn't work so well in the first light area we crossed a couple of days ago, and yeah, I played more the fleet than the strategy. Like originally, I was more like thinking about going maybe further south. That's why I did all this double jibe off Madeira. And then I decided to play more the bunk of the fleet, which was maybe not such a good idea in the end. But anyway, that's how it is. And yeah, they're not far away. It's okay.
How is it now? What are you seeing in the next few hours in terms of the chances of catching Sam a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, Ross was compressing with him. It really all depends on how this light zone evolves. It's supposed to kind of die out and disappear, but so it really depends when this disappearing mechanism starts and if Sam is already still in there or not. If Sam is still in the light wind and the light wind areas start to disappear, then it will be okay. Obviously, we'll still be able to get some stronger wind before me, but potentially that could be hopefully the compression will still we still have a bit of compression after the system. We'll see. You never know. Like sometimes you think, oh yeah, it's gonna be going to.
How far are you looking down the track at the moment in terms of routing?
All the way to South Africa. So
How does it look generally?
Go a long way out. Pretty good.
That's good.
Looking pretty good with some nice low pressure to ride. Like 2/3 of the way down to Cape of Good Hope. So hopefully it really all depends on how long it takes us to cross the doldrums and the light wind ahead. But yeah, if we're lucky, we will be on time to catch a fast train towards Cape of Good Hope, which could be pretty fun.
That'd be fun. What did you do to relax over the last weekend? We saw that Sam and Johan had been watching a little bit of rugby. What have you been doing other than Meteo?
Taking care taking care of my boat, sleeping, and also not much entertainment. Yeah, oh yeah, I listen to some music of it. Yeah.
Good for you. We've got Will Harris as a guest, Charlie. He's got a question for you.
Yeah.
Hey Charlie,
Yeah.
hope all's going well on board.
I will.
I was just wondering how much sleep and rest are you managing to get with the conditions being so up and down? I mean, I guess you'd wish you'd had a slightly nicer, comfier Elysees, but are you managing to get much sleep?
Well, yeah, in the stable stretches you can sleep okay. It really depends on like sometimes you get the conditions don't change much for hours and hours. That was kind of the case for part of the night, so I was able to sleep quite a lot. And then second half of the night, we're starting to get some light breezes and more and constant wind and stable wind, and then yeah, it's pretty much harder then. But yeah, you never know. Like normally you look at the charts and yeah, looks like a good stretch for a sleep, for a nap and yeah, like it's not so much like what we see on the water is pretty different to what the files are saying. So yeah, you have to take the opportunity for the nap when you can, but it's not written on the grid files unfortunately in this area.
Just finishing with one quick question in English from Antoine Grenapin.
Yeah, hi, Charlie, you look like so relaxed. How you explain it? How you explain that you look like enjoyed so much the beginning of the race?
Well, because it's a Vendée Globe, it's a fun race to do it. And yeah, the conditions are okay. I'd rather rather be sailing a bit faster, but it's pretty pleasant. It's not too warm. It's only like 26 degrees in the cockpit. It's yeah, it's pretty pleasant sail, and it's been pretty fun few days since the beginning, and it's a bit slower than we expected because in my daily bag of food today, I found my little bottle for the equator. So yeah, we a bit late, I think, or when I was on football 16. So yeah, the bottle is not getting open today.
Yeah, don't open it early. That's very bad luck.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Charlie, a privilege to speak with you, and have a great Monday, and we'll catch up in a few days.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Will. Have a good day. Speak soon.
So that's Charlie Dalin then. Pretty zen, all in all, Antoine. Nice, cool, calm and collected customer.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's nice to see him like this, whatever what.
I mean, I think he's very motivated. Having missed that period when he couldn't race, I think he's come back. He's got much more appetite, hasn't he?
Yeah, of course. And he changed a bit his way to prepare himself. Yeah, it's maybe funny, but he go more on holidays on the last few months before the race. So we see that he's more zen, more relaxed, and I think he likes to be a bit behind the leader of the race.
Just a chance to try and catch up. And we also caught up with the race leader, Sam Goodchild, earlier on this morning, and he's pretty zen as well.
Only because people keep asking me, but otherwise, no. I mean, I've obviously been leading the West Pack since a couple of days now, and the East guys were ahead of us on the chart. So actually, the moment when I became leader on the chart was not a big moment at sea, if you like. But yeah, no, I mean, it's pretty special. I didn't expect to be leading the Vendée Globe a week in or over a week in. It's not at all my objective, but it doesn't mean it's not to be appreciated, not to be enjoyed. So I'm trying to enjoy it. Yeah, so I guess the risky boat is, or the risk in terms of position is Tomarillo, who's got a much further west position than I have. He's almost 100 miles further west. And we're just going through this last zone of light winds. And after that, we should have, the closest thing to trade winds we've had since the beginning for a couple of days to get across the doldrums. So it depends how we get out of this light patch, really. I've maybe got a bit more of a difficult light patch to cross, but a better angle coming out and a bit more options on the doldrums, as in where I go into the doldrums than Tomo does. So I will wait and see. I mean, the aim right now today is I got 4 knots of wind right here and try and make the best of it and try and get myself out of this light wind as fast as possible. I mean, the big choice was whether you go east or west. None of the leading groups took the east route like John Le Cam and Conrad Coleman have done. But we had a moment when it was an option, so that was the first big choice. And then after that, it was really about, and there's a little bit of luck. I'm not going to be, I'll be honest about that. There's the amount of squall clouds and squalls we've had. You've had to play them well and have a little bit of luck on your side as well. And a little bit of both. Managed to play the shifts well and managed to slip through a couple clouds or under a couple clouds, and which has helped me out. And then I've kind of come out and leading the West Pack. Yeah, for the rest of the day it's going to be pretty light, and hopefully the wind will come in, even if it's 5-10 knots, at least to keep the boat moving. And then tomorrow we'll have a reach with a bit more wind, and then we'll start getting serious as to where we're going to get into the doldrums. No. I had a shower. I guess that's a treat, isn't it? I had a shower and I changed my t-shirt and changed my pants for the first time. So yeah, that was good. We just had a bucket over the side and then a little bit of fresh water to rinse off, but it makes you feel the whole world better. So I might do it again today. I sent him a message he sent me a message a few days ago. I sent a message last night and I got a reply this morning just asking how it's going, whether he's got his leak under control and whether he's enjoying the first week of Vendée and yeah, just general how you're doing sort of things. And yeah, it was good it sounds like he's got everything under control, and we're both appreciating the fact that it's been, apart from Cap Finisterre, it's been a fairly kind of easy entrance into this Vendée Globe. It's going to ease us into it a bit as opposed to going straight into hard conditions. So yeah, it's we appreciate a short change.
So that's Sam Goodchild with his scrambled eggs for breakfast this morning. But you can see pretty light conditions, only 4 knots of breeze. Will Harris, what do you think about Sam's position right now? Clearly, this was this morning, just got very light breeze.
Yeah, I think it's really impressive to see both Sam and Charlie sort of being so relaxed about the whole situation. I think it really is kind of the weather situation that's happening out there with the fleet being so bunched together a week on. Halfway through the week, we saw the fleet starting to really spread out, the Vendée style. And now they're all compressed back together. They all seem quite relaxed because they know they've got their competitors around them, and it's effectively a restart in the race. And you can really see that in the way Charlie and Sam were talking to the camera there. But I think Sam's doing exactly what he's got to do. He's trying to sort of sail to the south and sit between his competitors and I guess the finish line, even though they're heading away from the finish line right now, but kind of the direction they want to be going and making the most of what wind they get, kind of knowing that the weather files aren't always correct and they've got to just go with whatever wind they have. I think he says he's got a bit lucky, but he's also taken a different approach to it to the others, and I think that's why he's really managed to eke out a little bit of a lead on the others and is just kind of being very relaxed about the whole situation.
It was interesting, though, the key there with Charlie saying he sailed the fleet rather than what he thought maybe was the best strategy.
Yeah, exactly. No, Charlie was definitely thinking a bit more about the fleet, and Sam sort of going with his gut instinct. But I think both of them, they still know that the race has a long way to go. And I think having these light winds now and not having a sort of typical nice trade winds. If we look back to the start days where the fleets left Les Sables d'Olonne with a nice northeasterly wind and a really nice wind pushing them down to Finisterre and down towards Madeira. I think it's almost like that was their trade winds there, and now they're almost in an early doldrums right now, and it's really complicated situation, and this cut-off low is definitely affecting them.
Well, I mean, one thing we were talking about skippers who've got a bit of a challenge on just now. Louis Burton with this problem has got some cracking on the edge of his deck. Just explain what's happened there. This is because of the jockey pole, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of an unfortunate situation there for Louis. He's the jockey pole's actually it's sort of a trimming pole used to fly the biggest sail on board the boat, the big Jenica. It's a bit the sail that these boats are using now instead of the spinnaker, because of the foils, the apparent wind, the wind sort of created by the boat is much tighter angle, and so you have to use the jockey poles in order to make the sails very flat. And what that means is the jockey poles will be connected to the deck and they'll be compressing onto the deck with very high loads sometimes. And obviously what's happened with Louis there is it's been too much pressure, or there's been a bit of side force or something, and it's actually damaged the structure on the boat. So not an ideal situation for him to be in. He probably can't use his biggest Jenica sail there, but hopefully he can do some nice repairs to be able to carry on and be competitive in the race still. And I bet he's really at the top of the list of hoping to get out the light winds and into some slightly stronger winds, so he won't be so handicapped without his bigger sail.
Quick question for you, Will, from Antoine Grenapin.
Yeah, just basically, can you explain to us if it's possible to fix it quick, or it looks like difficult, no?
Yeah, I think it's really hard to know exactly how much repair and how much is damaged is done on the boat, but I think it's something he'll be able to repair to carry on with the race. It's been a part of the boat which doesn't take so many impacts, and it's obviously a damage that's come from using the jockey pole. So I think his main problem is going to be not being able to use the jockey pole. That's going to really affect what sails he can use, but also I think structurally it's he's going to be able to do a repair to stop water coming in and to stop any sort of structural issues, but it really depends how quickly he caught it. If it's something he noticed straight away, or if it's something that's sort of gone a bit more into the boat. Hopefully he's making the most of the light winds now to do whatever repairs he needs to before he goes into the South Atlantic.
Great stuff, Will. Thanks very much. Let's have a look at the weather situation today and looking forward to the rest of the day and into tomorrow. So the weather this Monday morning as we go into the second week, well, it's still quite complicated at the front of the fleet. Sam Goodchild had a good passage through last night, but this morning it's quite light. You can see there's still quite a light band in front of him. Big question is whether when the stronger trade winds will fill in, whether it'll be to the west or more in the middle for Sam Goodchild. In the meantime, Jean Le Cam and Conrad Coleman still in the east, closer to the African coast. They're starting to get a little bit of breeze, but it's still, as I say, pretty complicated. Let's look quickly at the cloud situation, just seeing that there's still a little bit of cloud there, so it's very shifty, very puffy and up and down for the skippers out in this part. Looking now at the animation, we'll see, as I say, Sam Goodchild, Thomas Riong, and this starts to play out. We're starting to really look at a restart almost by the evening today, just watching as the breeze continues for the boats behind. Sam Goodchild, as we know, slowed just now, coming down to the latitude of the Cape Verdes. Jean Le Cam coming in from the east quite nicely, with a quite decent breeze, and we'll see just that it starts to compress a little bit as the boat's coming in from the behind. So a little bit of a restart this evening. So Will, a lot of this problem with these lack of trade winds is caused by this low pressure system up off the Moroccan coast.
Yeah, exactly. It's you know, when you get these sort of cut-off low situations like we have at the moment, it's really a trade wind killer, so to speak. It really forces that band of high pressure, which is normally driving the nice easterly trade winds that the fleet should be having. It drives that south, and it makes this very difficult line that the fleet's currently trying to get over. And it's really a question of timing, to be honest. You know, that low pressure is going to be dying out the next couple of days. And when that does die out, it's going to allow that trade winds to reestablish. Where from exactly, we're not sure who's going to get the wind first. But what's really interesting is to see Sam with that slight lead on the others. And if he does manage to reach those trade winds a little bit further south, sort of at the latitude of Cabo Verde, then he could really find a nice jump. I think those routings there were sort of showing the fleet all compressing back together. But really, if Sam manages to touch the new wind first, then he could really find a nice advantage compared to the rest of the fleet. But we'll have to see, really.
Thank you very much. We're going to look at Paul Meyer, who has got a little bit of a secret weapon, and after that, Antoine's doing the classements, the rankings.
I would keep that secret, but unfortunately, I hoist my spinnaker maybe 2 hours after the start, so many boats saw me. And yesterday I crossed Benjamin, and many skippers asked me by WhatsApp if I have spinnaker because my VMG was different. So for many guys, I just I don't respond. I say, oh no, maybe it's bluff, I don't know. But yes, no, I love this sail because actually we sail a lot with the spinnaker during ocean race, and so I know this sail really well, and so it was just the idea to sail as usual.
So there we go, Paul Meyer for the first time on our English show, talking about his secret weapon. Antoine, the rankings.
Yeah, he's on the English show, but not on the top 10. So as you say, Sam is the first. You see that the three first sailors are just 50 miles between them, and the gap gather and reduce on the last few hours. We see that there is just one guy from the east, Jean Le Cam. You speak about it when you talk about the weather, plus the other English, the other Samantha Davis were 7, and we're on the group on the west, and she moved also to be fast and to be close to the leader. We continue? Yes. For the international, with Justin's 11th, Giancarlo Pedote 12th. They're also on the west part of the fleet. Alan Roura 15. He's totally on the east. It will be really hard for him to gather with the other one. And after, we need to continue to see the other international. Pip R 23, 24. Boris Herrmann, other German Isabel Joschke 27th. And we need to go to the back of the ranking to see Oliver here and Jinkung Zun, Denis and Chabot Suarez. You speak about him. He stay close to Las Palmas in Canary Islands.
Indeed, so hopefully things are going quite well for Shabby, who's making that repair. Will, talk to us about Boris a little bit. He's having a little bit of a tough time.
You know, it's a challenging situation out there, and you can see that whole bunch of boats there, all tightly packed together. So I think the rankings, it's probably not looking so good for him right now, or certainly not where Boris wants to be. But you know, it's a long way to go, and he's probably in sight with about 15 of the other boats at the moment. So I'm hoping he's not too stressed out there, and he's keeping his cool, taking it easy. But yeah, and I think the fact that all the skippers are there in the same situation, it's probably quite calming for them. I think if they were seeing their other competitors flying away down the road, it would be pretty horrible situation to be in. But until that happens, which we probably don't see for the next 12 or 24 hours, then I think they're all hopefully enjoying the moments and being relatively relaxed. And I think really interesting to see Paul there, having made the choice to take the spinnaker. He obviously had a look at that before the start. And it's, you know, very untypical to see one of the newer foiling boats take a spinnaker, because with the new foils and the apparent wind angles, it's often a lot faster on the other sails. But with these conditions they've had, we've really seen Paul manage to sort of sail his way through the fleet, and just having that slightly better VMG than the others, which is exactly what they need at the moment.
It's just quite funny to hear him. We're talking about it being a surprise. He said he went through the start line and all the WhatsApp started coming in.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think it's you know, it's a lot of the races, the decisions are all made before the start. So I think suddenly seeing one of your competitors going with a choice like that, it's going to make all the others really wondering what he's going for. You know, a spinnaker it's a lot of work for a solo sailor, and especially the loads that you see when the boats are really foiling. You're always worried that the sail's not going to be able to take the load, or it's not going to be so good when it's windier. But in this situation, Paul says, I'm going for it. I've got the experience of the ocean race. I think I can do it by myself. And I think that's what is really important for the Vendée, is kind of going off what you feel is the right thing to do. And yeah, it'd be really good to see if it pays out for him in a few days.
Will. Antoine, what's been going on in the French show today? They were talking about food and nutrition, weren't they?
Yeah, of course. One of the famous French cooker was here on the show. They try to make a recipe like on board. They just try to boil cooked dry food, and to be honest, the chef really don't like it.
He didn't like the food at all, did he?
No, not at all. And it's important to notice that for majority of the sailors, they still have some fresh food, which is quite nice and quite good to get. They have some fruit, some avocado yet, and that's quite nice before the next days of the race.
What else have we seen? We saw some avocado. We saw Clarisse with a...
Yeah, with grapefruit. That's the big tradition for Clarisse and Tanguy Le Turquet. He's her husband, and they together eat some, and so there is some fruit on board for the next few days.
Nice contrast, I think, with Mike Golding. I think you've got a little story to tell us, Will.
Yeah, I think you know, a very well-known British sailor who took part in the Vendée Globe 12 years ago. He would always do a cooked English breakfast, even when the wind was very strong, and it's definitely not favourable to be making a bacon and eggs. He would always make sure to take that little comfort and cook himself up a good English breakfast. But I think the food on board is something so important, and you know, we talk about the freeze-dry meals and the wet meals and everything always coming in a bag. But, you know, for Boris, we've also packed some cook your own sort of food. It's sort of freeze dry vegetables, which you can put in a pan and boil it up. And it just gives you that sort of authenticity of feeling like you're actually making the meal yourself. And it doesn't feel so repetitive as opening the seal on a bag and pouring hot water in. So I think it's nice for the skippers to find the things that they like, and when they're out at sea, they can sort of take the small pleasures and sort of the daily pleasures. And I think that's really important for the race, because you have to set yourself little goals. You have to break it up bit by bit. And if you can break it up between each of the meals and look forward to your next meal, then that's something really important. Whereas if you're definitely not looking forward to your food, then it's definitely going to make that race a lot harder.
Make it a lot harder indeed. We've all been wondering how Conrad Coleman has been getting on this extreme course out to the east, and Conrad sent us a video this morning, and I think he's coming into breeze.
You see that? You see that? Ah! It's a new day! It's a new day. The sun has just come up, and more importantly, it's a new day because the wind is back. The boat is moving. Last night was just astonishingly calm. I have never, ever, ever been on a boat that is so calm in the middle of the ocean. The boat was not moving, it was not making a noise. It was beautiful and peaceful. And I would normally say frustrating, but actually I've worked a lot on myself over the past couple of months, and indeed past couple of days, to really try and remain in control of my emotions and not get worked up. And I'm pretty proud of myself, actually. I remained zen, I looked after myself, I did yoga, I did stretching, I ate well, I slept well, all in preparation for this moment, for having wind, for being able to get stuck into it again.
So there we go, Zen and the art and science of solo ocean racing. Thank you very much to Will Harris and to Antoine Grenapin. Antoine, going on a break for a few days, well earned. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. My guest tomorrow, Nick Maloney.